So, unexpectedly, I went to go see The Incredibles 2 this past weekend, and it was downright amazing. Now, with a little history of The Incredibles 2, I remember going to see it in theaters when I was a kid, and I really enjoyed the movie. Like, it was not only full of the superhero comic book action that every American kid wanted to go see, it was also very deep in a more serious issue as to, like, trying to lock up who basically what we like to call another race really are. Like, they went from being, like, the stars of each of their cities to basically criminals, all because of one days of disaster, which apparently the country had been thinking about getting rid of superheroes for a while, but that one incident at the beginning of the first movie was the evidence that they needed to get rid of superheroes all entirely. The second movie, I'm trying not to spoil this as much as possible, it goes much deeper into the whole struggle between we need villains, we don't need villains thing. While the first movie was an identity crisis, the second movie was kind of like that, but it led more into feminism, for one thing. But then for second, it's what about these kids who have superpowers now? Like, we need to give them a choice. And what I mean by that is Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl's kids. I think the whole cast from the first movie has made it into the second movie. You have Samuel L. Jackson as Frozone, and the two other people who I forgot played Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl. I recognized them from the first film. They came back to reprise their roles for the second movie. I think the kids were also voiced by the same people. 14 years! We waited 14 years for this movie, and when I saw it in the movie theater with a friend of mine, the funniest part of the whole, like, previews of before the movie started was, this, short behind the scenes, clip thing of the three main actors of the movie, explaining that, yeah, we know you waited 14 years for this movie, but we promise you it's going to be great, and we apologize that you had to wait 14 years. Meaning, Cars 3 had to come first, and then this movie. I mean, I think we almost had to wait longer for a sequel to Finding Nemo, but I'm not really complaining about that much. But as I mentioned before, I think the 14-year wait was definitely worth it for this movie. Not only because of the 3D animation quality, but it's also definitely story quality. Like, I could tell that it took time, and the right time too, to incorporate not only the jokes to the movie, but definitely the sequel-ness to the first movie, because when I saw this, it definitely felt like a continuation in my eyes. It definitely felt, yeah, this is a sequel to the first movie. And storytelling-wise, I'd give it major props. I'm not gonna spoil... I keep saying that I don't want to spoil too much of this movie, but there's so many things that are good about it. Like, the villain was completely unexpected, then at the same time kind of expected, but more unexpected, which gives you the more plot twist feel. The main characters of the movie are more developed. The time period of the movie was definitely more developed to incorporate present ideas, even though the movie still takes place in the past. I think I know what time period this takes place in, but at the same time I kinda don't. But that's not really the point. I think my whole favorite part of this movie is the fact that they actually tackle the stay-at-home dad angle, because in the movie it's Elastigirl who ends up getting a job and she goes out to work while Mr. Incredible has to stay home, making sure that the kids get to school, they do their homework, that they're fed and everything. And you can see how much this puts a toll on him, because you could tell he was never used to this, but at the same time, because of the time period that this movie was experiencing, like, stay-at-home dads were not that common, and they were just starting to arise, I guess, and they finally get to realize that, yes, stay-at-home parent is not as easy as you think it is. Edna Mode is still fantastic, even though I think she's has the amount of same screen time as she was in the first movie, so I was worried that they were not going to give her that much screen time or any at all, as we were promised, but oh my god, Edna's still great, Frozo's still great, just everything is still great, and I will tell you, the action scenes in this movie, I think, are the best that I've ever seen in any action of anything. Like, I think this was probably what the 14 years took part of the most when it came to this, because there is literally so much going on at once. Like, it just tackles each slide of film so quickly that sometimes you don't even understand what's going on, but it's so awesome that you don't even care if you don't know what's going on, because eventually you'll find out what's happening anyway. And plus, there are more superhero characters in this movie, which I highly appreciate, because in the last film we didn't get that much because, you know, the whole underground thing. We do end up getting more superheroes in here, and the action that goes on with them is great. Just everything about this movie is great, and if you have not seen it yet, which I highly doubt that you probably haven't seen it yet, I highly suggest that you do. Please do, because not only is it a great Disney and Pixar film, it's just a great movie in general. So that's about that, and now I'm all winded out after speaking so much. I'm Kate Sharon, it's been real. Ciao!